Hello everybody, it's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In this video, we have Bachelor podcaster, former Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelor Winter Games, Dancing with the Stars, and possibly future Special Forces star Nick Viall, host of the Viall Files, exposes the Golden Bachelor Gary with unverified tea. Now, he does a good job of dismissing the tea, but it's also important to know that the tea was shared in the first place. I can't really cast much of a judgment on them for sharing the tea because now we're commenting on the tea that they shared. We're going to handle it with kid gloves, I'll tell you that much. It's a pretty heartbreaking rumor, but also has zero triangulation of truth. You know what I mean? It's a disgruntled former employee of Gary is speaking out. But again, this is unverified. We don't know any of the information that exists around it, but we're still going to listen to what they have to say. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind the scenes bonus content. I accidentally did it public this morning, so about 50 or 60 of you guys got to be a part of our private community. Maybe I should do this more often. It's very interesting to see how the sausage is made with regards to our channel and the content we put out as a reactionary channel. That's what I do. I like to see what other people say, give my own take. I listen to your takes, and sometimes we break a story, but most of the time, just a reactionary channel. Nothing big going on here. Follow us every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, every afternoon. We have all of your Bachelor and other entertainment news in one place. So I was sent this nearly immediately. I mean, about an hour and a half ago. The thing's only been up for 2 hours. And people said, oh my gosh, Dave, the 8-minute mark, they share completely unverified tea about Gary. So we have to remember, as we listen to this, people are innocent till proven guilty. I think Gary has earned that right. He's the next Bachelor. Chances are he's actually filming right now, and maybe he doesn't even have access to his social media. Like he's a product of a different time. And that's not me defending him so much as saying, let's take this with a complete grain of salt here and intake our sodium right now. Have a listen.
Oh no!
I got dirt on Gary.
Oh.
So I got a message from someone whose dad
I haven't
worked
even
with him.
approved of that. Okay, go ahead.
So this was like
You got a message
this
from.
girl
Okay, I'm sorry.
was-
I'm just shut the fuck up. Start over.
So Nick already says, I haven't approved of this dirt here. But I guess the buck stops with him as the host of the show. Do you let this air? That's the question. Leave a comment after listening. Do you let this air or do you wait? Now, my guess is what we're about to share, that Reality Steve is going to blast Nick tomorrow. As we know, Reality Steve has pretty much been the central spoiler person and has been I would say the subject of many complaints that he shared on Verified Tea. So now he actually sits very heavily on a lot of information and only shares things that he can actually vet himself. So are we all dabbling into the territory of Reality Steve's past where we were just sharing anything that was out there? Or like what do we, like journalistically, these are the questions to ask. Does Nick Viall and his YouTube channel or his podcast, do they have a duty and a right to try to get the actual facts first, or are we just going to share anything? And those are real questions. I don't know the moral answer to. You could leave a comment and let me know.
politely. Okay. This girl who DM'd me, this person who DM'd me, her dad, I believe, knew someone who worked with him or like whatever. So it's like the dads are all around the same age. And the DM said, so apparently his wife died in 2017 and he was having an affair with another woman at work before she died, then lost his job with the company because he...
Look at Andrew Spencer. Oh my gosh. By the way, Andrew Spencer, we recorded a couple days ago, will be the next guest on Driving with Dave here, but he is just shocked at this news.
He left an inappropriate voicemail for a woman at work and accidentally got sent to the whole company. My dad says he's a slime ball.
Who's got that voicemail?
We need the voicemail.
We need the voicemail.
We need the voicemail. How is it? But has this been verified? Are we just?
I like to trust
spreading
the
a dirty,
people who DM me.
Oh my god.
And then Nick responds with, "Oh my God!" So we actually have a moment here where, and again, the buck stops with Nick. This is his show, but we have a real conundrum here where Nick's actually on the side of the skeptic that this story probably isn't true. In which case, you wonder: is it salacious enough that you need to put it in the episode so that people talk about it? Maybe, but what's the collateral damage? Like, what if we find out, no, Gary was actually on a break from his wife, or maybe they had an open relationship? What if there's all these things that you find out that are true, and then now this news, which was that he cheated and all these things, which again involves his late wife who can't share her side of the story. She's passed 6 years ago, right? So it gets very murky, to say the least.
Jesus Christ.
So it's
It
an
seems
allegation.
very specific.
This producer right here is quick to say it's an allegation. Like, she's quick to tone it down versus the producer on the left. And I'm not here to point fingers. I'm seeing this sort of dynamic. We almost have the devil and the angel on either shoulder of Nick's here. With the one on the left says it seems very specific, and most of these times allegations are pretty specific.
It's an
Again,
allegation.
Hard
It's
to verify,
unproven.
but I wanted the people to know.
I have specific bullshit things said about me daily.
But I'm also
I
like,
second that.
what?
And actually, when I talked to Andrew Spencer, which you're going to hear this Saturday, we talked a lot about that. People digging up your past and trying to destroy your character and wanting to see the nasty side of you. Like, we all have our bad days. And again, I'm not condoning cheating. That's far from what I'm doing. I'm just saying, I would, like, if this were me here right now, again, and I'm not taking any moral superiority. It's a real tough conundrum when you get a hold of this information. You go, I want to share it. And, as far as the producers are concerned, there's probably a little battle between the two of who's the better producer, who can bring Nick the tea, right? You really start to wonder, like, what kind of follow-ups were done. I know Reality Steve likes to get people on a phone call because it's very easy to just send out some random thing from a burner email address, but get someone on the phone. They don't have to share who they are. Like, you don't have to share your sources, but you need to know who they are. You need to know their full names. You need to know what they're saying, and if they have any further proof that would be the truth. Like, if this is true, and a voicemail was sent out to a company-wide amount of people, there's going to be several other people that will verify this. We'll know within a day or two.
What was that voicemail? like, do you think he was moaning and groaning?
Hey, baby. I just want you to know, when I get off of this work here. I don't know why I went by you. I don't know why I went like.
You got
New
inspired by
Orleans.
the episode.
Is it?
Yeah, you were that boat driver at the theater.
I think she likes one of them more than the other
Yeah. If she don't pick none of them, I'm ready. That's what we said.
I was like, this man is not media trained.
It's like, I like this guy. He's fun.
Gary's 71. How can he not have a little couple, like, skeletons in his closet?
Yeah, but that was when his wife was alive. That's
Yeah, especially if he's gonna play like the widower card hard.
Well, because
And I don't think he is playing the widower card. That's just part of his identity. That's like Michael A. doesn't play the widower card. It's part of his identity. That's like, you just deal with, that's the life he lives. He's no longer, he had to deal with. So could there have been a situation where he was unfaithful and still, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, if there's so much, or we can just assume this is, if it is a disgruntled person, like, so say Gary put his hand on someone's shoulder and that was inappropriate. You shouldn't touch people at the workplace, right? Say he did that. Is there a disgruntled employee who didn't get the bonus he wanted at the end of the year talking trash about Gary? Like, so many human conditions come into these types of shows, being that he is now going to be catapulted to success. Like, fame doesn't necessarily change the person who receives the fame, but it makes people around that person super weird.
he's like, here's this photo of my wife, and she would love me doing this process. And I'm like, oh no, Gary.
No, hold on. All right. So the accusation is what again? That he was cheating on his wife before he left her. Did he?
By the way, can we get Nick bigger candles? Can we just get a plume of candle that goes all the way to the ceiling? Maybe like a chimney, maybe like a stacked chimney of candles.
Leave her? Did they get divorced or
She died.
she passed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do we know what
Cancer. Come on,
how
guys.
she left this earth?
Heartbreak. Just kidding.
Oh, boy.
She heard the voicemail and
Joking about Gary's late wife. Oh, this is why we can't have Golden Bachelor, because we got a nice guy, and here we are saying his wife died of heartbreak.
instantly
Okay,
passed away.
Because maybe it was one of those things where she was like
it's a funny
unable
joke.
to
but-
perform
What?
like love, and maybe she was like, "I want you to go have your needs met."
I actually appreciate Nick taking the side of Gary here and saying maybe his wife didn't want to have sex anymore. Maybe she was just happy tending to the garden and raising the kids and the grandkids. And maybe she said, Gary, go bang your coworker. Maybe. We're literally never going to know. She's passed away.
And maybe they had an open
relationship.
How do we know?
But what about the voicemail and getting fired from your job?
Well, that has nothing to do with consent from his wife in terms of an open relationship. That just might be like, hey, Gary, I know your wife approves of you. Like,
now I feel like people are going to be very upset with Nick sort of platforming this unverified tea. But at least he doesn't take the tea bait. He realizes, hey, people have said way worse things about me.
Sling in it, but like HR doesn't.
Yeah.
How does the fact that a voicemail is getting like disseminated to an entire company
how is that being
pretty crazy?
transferred?
Yeah, also correct. That's a great question. Is that even possible?
It doesn't make any sense.
How does a voicemail?
I'm gonna see if I can send a.
You
can.
You can on an iPhone, but this might have been before iPhone.
Oh, maybe
times.
he tried to like connect to her like.
There's no way Gary would have been able
line?
to even accidentally send a voicemail to his entire phone book.
Not his entire phone book, but like, what if he called the restaurant and everybody heard it?
Wait, the restaurant?
Because he worked in restaurants.
Oh.
He's a restaurateur.
Right.
Oh.
That is a red flag.
Yeah.
That he was
Just in
restaurateur,
general,
yes.
like.
People be fucking.
Yeah, it's just like part of your DNA to like live in that industry.
People be fucking is
They
wild.
do.
At restaurants?
Yes.
Yes. And Tony passed away from an illness, is what the articles say. It doesn't say what
Oh.
illness.
Tony.
I said, what was it last week? I cannot wait for people to start like, coming out with receipts.
And they did.
And it took a week.
Took a week.
See, the excitement that there would be tea on Golden Bachelor is a little unsettling, but this is the game. This is the game that I think we're all a part of, which sounds gross to say, but this is the game of watching a show. Now, traditionally, it's been people in their 20s and 30s for the most part. Now it's an older guy. And I guess when it comes to age representation, drama follows old people do, right? You ever watch The Notebook? I mean, they were young at the time, I guess. Oh, Ryan Gosling and the other James Marsden. Marsden was the good guy. Well, Hank, he built her, whatever. Very fascinating. It's the game we're all in as we watch the show. I guess the thing would be, though, is to not revel in the chaos and not say, oh, I'm so excited. There's some info on Gary out. It's like, we don't know. We don't know, folks. Again, not pretending I'm better than anybody else because I could have chosen not to make this video, but it's already up on the platform, so I might as well have a fan's thought on this. So I would say foul on Nick for sharing this without any further vetting to begin with, but kudos to Nick for at least questioning the source and questioning all of the things around it.
Man, this world is
Gary.
evil sometimes. Can't have
Well,
something nice. They can come for you.
I'm going to say there's a lot of suspect information here. One being this voicemail that sounds like an email or a text.
I can see a mass email.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
How do you send a mass voicemail?
Well,
Do you want me to ask?
Well, maybe it was like the
Yeah.
phone lines.
The fact that she said,
They
my
don't know how to
dad
use
says
voice
he's a
memos.
slime ball.
Okay, so
I
third
believe
part.
that.
Why?
Because that's
Well, we
such a
should
dad thing to
go to
say.
the dad.
He's a slime ball.
So the human centipede of knowledge here, right? Nick's questioning his producer, who got the information from a girl whose father worked with, this is ass end of the human centipede.
He was the coworker, so he got
Maybe
the voicemail.
he's jealous of Gary and that great
Bingo.
head of hair.
Yeah.
Gary has a better head of hair than most 29-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean,
People will be jealous.
yeah, that could be it.
You know what? Team Gary so far.
Yeah.
wow.
I hope the rumors aren't true about the infidelity, but this is an unverified rumor.
It's my job to report.
Is the account in which you received said DM, does it even look
Does it have a real
like
picture?
a person?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a
No,
cartoon.
she and I go way back. We're best
Did you
friends.
respond to her?
No.
Okay.
So someone I know
So she says her and I go way back, but it sounds like she's kidding.
up in San Francisco follows her, I think.
So you kind of know this person?
Yeah.
So the producer knows somebody who also follows the person that told her dad was friends. Okay, we got it's tangled, but it's out there. We're going to either get more information or not. My guess is if we don't have at least 2 more people coming forward knowing this story, my guess is it's not true. Because I could understand why people wouldn't want to break the story that worked with Gary, but assuming the story is true, if we did assume the story was true, you would think that now that the story is out there, other people would say, yeah. And don't get me wrong, everyone that worked with Gary is now going to know, oh, he's the next Bachelor. Like, it's enough buzz that people will be out there and comment on it if it's true. My guess is we're going to get people defending Gary and saying this is ridiculous, he loved his wife or whatever. We're going to get more information. The story is broken wide open by Nick's podcast. Let me know what you guys think. We'll be back with the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast after this.